I'm Neil McKell from Sydney Automotive Paints. I'm here to demonstrate how to use the Easy Caliper measuring system. During the course of my demonstration, I'll show you how to calibrate the Easy Caliper, how to measure a car using the data supplied, explain to you what the different icons represent, and also explain how to overcome any problems. So now I'm going to show you what to turn on at first startup. That will be your computer. So we turn that on from here, and then we turn our printer on. Then we'll need to turn on our Easy Caliper and our tracker system. Okay, so while our computer is booting up, we need to press the red button on the Easy Caliper, turn her on, and also the same on the tracker system. Press the red button, turn it on. Okay, once we've turned everything on, we need to place the tracker system either on the car or in the car, depending on where the damage is on the vehicle. The tracker has magnetic feet to hold it to the roof. It's got rubber protective pads, so it's not going to scratch the paintwork. So the aerial, note the aerial on the tracker system, it has to point either passenger side of the car, driver's side, or front to rear. And later on when we go to the screen I'll be able to show you what that means. But now we just place this on the vehicle like this, and we just adjust the arm, so basically it's sitting level. And then we forget about it. Okay, so when our computer is loaded, this is the first screen that you're going to see when it comes up. So on the bottom of the screen here where you can see the scroll button, I'm showing the 100%, which is your Easy Caliper battery power, and further to the left there it's showing that's your radio signal, so you've got full strength and 100% battery power. Over to the right hand side of the screen, this is our tracker system, so you've got 100% battery power and full strength on the radio. So from here we go up to the makes, and we need to choose the make and model of the vehicle. So we click the button and we go through to, we want Opel. There we have Opel, press on that, and then it brings up all the models automatically. Now, we've got an Astra 4-door sedan, type H. 4-door sedan, type H. So we click on that, and now it loads that information. So from here we need to choose a data sheet. So our data sheet window is this icon here. We click on that, and this large window here is our data sheets window. Click on there and it brings up this where we choose the upper body data sheet, the underbody data sheet, and then we close this window. So from here we print these two sheets out, so at all times we have the data sheet right in front of us, so it enables us to be able to read the different points to be able to measure. Click on the printer. Okay, so now it's going to print those two sheets out for us. Okay, so now we've chosen the data sheet, and the computer has loaded that information, and we have our data sheets in front of us. So now we need to start to measure the car. So we go up to the top of the screen onto the measuring tape, and we click on that, which starts our calibration sequence. Now you'll notice on here it's saying select tracker position to continue calibration. Now we go OK. Now you have to tell the screen here in which direction the aerial on the tracker system is pointing. So we have the aerial pointing to the passenger side of the car, which is right here. Okay, so then it goes into the next window. Now it just wants us to calibrate the measuring bar to the car. So that's what we're about to start now. So their first window, it's asking us to put the length of our measuring bar to 260 millimetres. I'm about to show you that now. 260 millimetres is the box slid all the way to the end until it hits. Okay, 260 millimetres now is between this point and this point. Now we have to press the confirmation button, which is this button here. It looks a little bit like a floppy disk. So we press and it confirms by beeping. Okay, this is our second window now for our calibration sequence. It's asking us for a height calibration at a widthwise angle. It's asking us to measure under the vehicle from the right side to the left side, purely for a level of the car sitting side to side. Okay, so we come under the car and we need to measure from the right side to the left side. This point, this side here on the measuring bar is always your start point. So it goes under the right hand side and this side to the left. So in this we choose 2 undamaged points. Then we press the confirmation button. Now we have a level of the car sideways. Okay, so now our screen has brought up our third and final calibration sequence. Now it's asking us to measure a lengthwise angle. So it wants us to choose a start point and an end point on the data sheet so we can measure in length. So now we refer to our data sheet to choose our start point and end point. As a general rule, our start point is normally our 0 point, right, which is back here at the base of the rear suspension. Now it's point number 13. That's what we need to choose for our start point, and to measure this point we need a 16 cup. Now we're going to measure through to point number 10, which is here to here, and we need there a pointer because it's a hole in the underbody rail. So 13 to 10. So now we choose our start point on the computer, which is 13, and our end point, which is 10. Now the computer here is telling us that we need to measure the left hand side. If needed, you can change this to the right hand side just by simply clicking on the R. It always defaults to the left side. Okay, now we've chosen to measure between 13 and 10. The computer knows what the distance is between those points, so it's saying we need to pull the measuring bar out another 132 millimetres to get within 3 millimetre range. So when you get within the 3, it'll come up a green OK. So now when you get under the car, you're not searching for these points. These points should just line up. So if you need to know what type of points you're measuring, click on the camera and it will automatically bring up the photos. So this is our end point, so you can see where it's located, and then you click on start point and that's where we're measuring to, or measuring from. Back to measuring. Now we measure the points. Okay, we're about to measure these 2 points now. So point number 13, we need a 16 cup, and point number 10, we need a pointer. 16 cup, our start point, pointer for our end point. Okay, so now we measure these points. So we locate the 2 points. Now put this up, make sure it fits. Press the acknowledge button. Beeps. Now we're calibrated. We have a level so that we can measure all points under the car now. So while we're underneath the car, we press this button again and that records it. So now it's recorded. Okay, now that we've calibrated the car, we need to measure to the front end of the vehicle. So in this case, we're measuring, our start point now is going to become 10. So change this to 10. And our end point is going to be 3. Now to measure this point, one point is higher than the other, so I need to change this point to lower, and this point here, because point number 10 is a pointer, put that in there, and point number 3 is a 16 cup, which I put in here. Now you notice that I have 100mm longer on this end than the other, so we have to tell the computer here, or on my end point, that I've put on 100mm. So now it knows the distance between here and here. So now we're going to proceed to measure to the front end of the vehicle. So we're going to the front crossmember bolt, put it in place. So we have -3 in height and +1 in length. We record that point, that's fine. Okay, now we've come back to the screen. I've brought the measuring bar back to the screen. Now you must place the measuring bar in an upright position, the way that we're actually measuring under the vehicle, because if you come back and you turn it upside down, it's going to think that it wants to measure the upper body of the car, and it changes to the upper body data sheet. So it changes everything. So turn it back up. So we're reading the right data. Now you'll notice on the screen that this little eye has gone green. If you come back after you've recorded a point, the eye goes green, you need to click on it, and it will bring up the values that you've just measured. So we have 0 in height, -1 in length at those points that we measured. So now we want to measure, we will go back to measuring. So you click on the tape again, goes back to measuring. So while we're on this, if you need to delete a point, click on the green eye, brings back the points that you measured, go to the cross beside it, and it says here in this window, do you want to delete this point from the project? And you can go yes or no. And then back to measuring. Now we're going to measure a diagonal. So we click on, so in the top left here we have left hand side, right hand side. This window here is diagonal, and we're going to be measuring from the right side to the left side. Okay, so now we're doing a diagonal from the right side to the left side. We'll record that point. And that's done. Okay, so we come back to the screen now, and we've measured the diagonal. So we see our little eye's gone green. So we click on our eye. Right, so our value for the height, +2mm, -1 in length. So the car is fine. So we go back to measuring now. Now, we want to see what our report sheet is reading. So you need to go into project management, which is this window here. Click on that. Now, in this window, you have to give it a project name so it can save the measuring for you. So in project name, whether you work off job numbers or registration numbers, that's what you would type in this window. So you can see we've typed in test as a project name for this vehicle. So from here you can add vehicle information, as in VIN, colour, licence and year. Then you can go to client information, put as much information in there as you like, and you can also have the insurance company and all their particulars. So after you've put in everything that you need, click on Save Project. So now we have the values of what we've saved. So you can see all the information up the top. So it will be your panel shop name and all the particulars you put in there. So we scroll down. Now we can read that we measured from 10 right, which is here, to 3 left, which is here, and the machine is set at a 3mm tolerance. We actually measured in height at this point 125. The data sheet says it's supposed to be 123. It's within 3mm, so it's okay. Now our length, we measured 1570. The data sheet says it's supposed to be 1571. It's within 3mm, so we have okay. And that's how you read your data. If you wish to print this out, just simply go to print, and out she comes, and that's your underbody before report. Now we're going to go back into measuring, and now we want to measure the upper body of the vehicle. Okay, we've lowered the car down on the hoist. Now we're measuring the top end of the car in the engine bay. We're measuring from point number 5 to point number 1 on the radiator support. So we've got it on the points now. So we press to record. Right, when you're either under the car or, as we are here, under the engine bay, you wish to be able to see the values of what you're measuring here on the job. You notice that these little windows here, you highlight at the moment that this light here is flashing. So we're actually measuring, this is actually showing the value of the length, which we're at 0. So it's spot on. If you scroll down one more, so now this light here is flashing and it's showing our height. So we're at -3 in height. When you scroll down one more, this is our start point that we're measuring, which is back there at the guard bolt, which is point number 5. Go down one more. Now we're at our end point, which is number 1 on the radiator support. Okay, one problem that some people have is when they go under the car and they measure a point and they come back to the screen to check their values, and because they've been measuring the underbody, they put the stick down on its side and it automatically goes to wanting to read the upper body data sheet. So all the values are wrong on the screen and you haven't got your green eye to go back and check what you've recorded at. So you need to bring it back and put the stick at the direction that you're actually measuring. So now you can see the green eye has come back and our values have come back. So we click on the green eye and now we know what we recorded at. Okay, another problem that you might encounter is if you look in the bottom left-hand corner where it's got your battery percentage, so we're at 100% there at the moment, but sometimes the colour of that may go grey and then back to green, and the same with over here on your tracker system. Sometimes that may go to grey and back to green. This means that you've got a dropout of radio contact, so it's dropping in and out, so we need to change the frequency so we don't lose any calibration while we're measuring. So you have to go up into the maintenance, which is up here, click on there, and then you have to go test connection. It does a check, should have all green lights down here. Right, so we need to go to change Wayland channel. Click on that one. Then this brings up, at the moment we're on automatic channel. So we need to scroll down. You've got from 1 automatic all the way to 11 channels. So these are all your radio frequencies. The reason that you may lose this contact is that some shops may have electrical interference from different types of machinery. So all you need to do is change one of the frequency levels. So best bet is probably go halfway, so we'll go to 5, so we're right away from auto channel. So you click on there and then you go OK, and it then loads that frequency. So you give it a few seconds. This will load. Then it does a recheck, so it's loading. So there you have it. Now you changed to a different frequency, and it's showing here, signal strength 100%. So you just go out of there, then you go back into measuring. If you've lost too much contact, you may have to recalibrate. But from then on, you should have full strength and you shouldn't lose it anymore. Okay, I'm just going to go down the left-hand side of the screen and identify the different icons. So obviously the L is to be able to measure the left-hand side of the vehicle, R is for the right-hand side, L to R to L, obviously diagonals. Now this one here is a lock button. If you choose a start point and an end point, when you get under the car, if you highlight this one, when you go underneath the car to measure that point, you hold it on that point for a couple of seconds and it just records automatically. You don't have to bother pressing the button. This next window here with the binoculars, it allows you to choose a start point from here, and you don't need to tell it what point you particularly want to measure at the end point. This sets it to automatic, so you're measuring from point 10 and you can measure to any other point on the data sheet and it'll pick it up automatically on this setting. This one here, this is your, if you're doing diagonal or front to back, it changes from right to left or left to right. Just reverses your measuring. So when you're doing diagonal there, right, it's highlighted. So at the moment it's going from right to left. I click on here and it automatically changes left to right. The next one underneath reverses the measuring numbers. So at the moment we're going from 10 to 3. This will reverse it to 3 to 10. And then the bottom one is your data sheets. There's your data sheet. Back to measuring. There we go. Okay, we're going to go through the icons on the top of the screen. So the first one here is our tolerance. So we set our tolerance at 3 millimeters. Can go all the way up to 10. So we normally operate at 3. There it is. This icon here is to when you want to recalibrate at any time for whatever reason. So you click on this one, brings up the calibration window, and you start again. Out of there. This one here is if you want to type in a measurement manually. So you click on here, and then down on the bottom of the screen here, you can see it comes up. We'll only type in lengths, can't type in heights. So then we go, this window here, it's like a target for when you're actually underneath the car. This is like a visual thing, so you can see it from under the car. So you'll have a ball want to come to the centre here until you get a bullseye, and this here is your height. So you want to get your measurement within this green section and your length in this green section in here. So we go back. This one here is like a wheelbase measuring. So you get your measuring stick, put it on one side of the car, it records to a 0 point, and then you measure the other side and it'll tell you what the difference is. Then we go into diagonal measuring. So you tell it which points you want to actually measure from. Let's say it's saying here that you need a start point. So we're going to tell it start point is actually can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be a number on the data sheet. You can measure from any point. You just say it's there. Then you click on your end point, and it's going to be in this corner here. So then you go OK, and now it's asking you to measure this line here from 5 to there. So you measure that way once, you click the button on your measuring stick, and then another line will appear in the opposite direction, and you just measure it and click, and it'll give you what the difference is. Next one, this is, just go OK for this one. This is measuring from one side of the vehicle to another. So if you've got a certain damage on your car that there's no data for, but you want to get one side the same as the other, you have to choose a reference side. So let's say the left-hand side is undamaged. We click on that, then you go ahead and you measure whatever points that you want repaired on the opposite side, and it will record a zero height and zero length. So then when you measure the other side, it'll give you the difference in height and length out of there. Okay, so this is our measuring. This one here is our data sheets. This one here is our memory bank for projects. This is our maintenance window, and this is to turn off the computer. Okay, one more important feature is your mechanical out reading. If you have a mechanical out reading on your data sheet and you wish to measure that point, as you can see here, point number 13, and it has this bolt being removed picture. If I go to position number 12, there's no mechanical out on this point, so this isn't highlighted. So we go back to 13, right, mechanical out. So if you click on that and you want it to read that mechanical out reading, you bring it up so it's green, so now it's reading a different height as your mechanical in.